Good morning, everyone. A lovely Sunday morning it is. I'm just going to let these two try and kill each other. Yep. Don't know if it's better on that one. Whoa, that was too much zoom, wasn't it? That's a bit better. You don't want to see my shadow all the time. I hope you're not getting too much wind noise, but because it's such a lovely day, and after being stopped in the road, God knows how many more times, I thought I would start doing uploads about training, handling your dog, things like that. That I do, you know what I mean? You just gotta let them burn it off. This is the way, this is what you want. You want them burning that energy off, because then it is in the house and it is in your hands when you're walking up the street. And they're using each other, so, and as I say, none of them get injured, so that's all that matters. But yeah, going back to my point, before I was rudely interrupted, I keep getting stopped in the street, I keep directing people to the videos, and I'm thinking, like, so many people are asking for help or training on their dogs or whatever. And I always say the same thing again, and I said recently to someone, it's not the dog that needs training, it's the handler or the person that owns the dog. So I'm going to do it in sections. So today I'm just going to talk about in the home. So you brought back your new pup, or you brought back your rescue dog, or you brought back your Malinois that's a year old because someone can't handle it. So where do we start? Right, first things first, get your history on the dog. Find out everything you can about that dog, where it's been, who's had it, and trust me, you will get all the excuses in the world. People saying to you, well, I got it from a friend, they didn't give me much. Keep pushing, keep pushing. Find what it's eating. More importantly, find when it was vaccinated, wormed, fleed. Has it got any health issues? She's sneezing or coughing. She's got dust up her nose. It's like a backward sniff. She's been sniffing, so it's got something up her nose. Probably a seed or dust. So yeah, find as much as you can. Find any issues, you know, and trust me that if they're selling you a dog, they're going to tell you it's the most beautiful dog in the world. It's no issues. It loves chasing balls. It sleeps all night. Just take it with a pinch of salt. Are you all right, Stella? It's like having kids, trust me. I think easier having kids. So you found as much as you can from the previous owners or the people handing over the dog. Try and get as much documents as you can, proof of microchipping. You know, don't let them say, yeah, it's just been microchipped, and oh, we lost the papers. I mean, it's probably all rubbish. It probably has never been microchipped. So yeah, get as much documents, much detail, so you've got proof. Find its feeding times, because the last thing you want to do is get it back home, start feeding it whatever food it's previously been having. You might want to change that in the future, but that's something you can do in the future. But last thing I was saying, you want to get it home and start feeding at 6 o'clock and find out it was already been fed at 3, because that means whatever's going in is going to come out. Plus, the opposite way, if someone says they fed it at 12 but they didn't today because they knew you're picking it up, don't leave the poor dog hungry all day. So plan for picking it up. Dog lead, dog collar, doesn't matter if people say they'll have one. How do you know it's any good? It might not be strong enough, it might break. So when you go and see, obviously you're going to view the dog before you actually pick it up. So have in mind what size dog you're getting, you know. So have a couple of collars handy. You know, you can get them second hand. You can look on places like Gumtree, eBay, anywhere. Borrow one off your friend, whatever. So go with a collar, go with a lead, just in case. Make sure you've got somewhere secure to put that dog in the car. Don't sit it on the back seat with your best mate, because trust me, if it's a Malinois and all of a sudden it goes into a frantic stage and decides it doesn't like being in the back seat, your poor mate's going to get torn to shreds by a Malinois that's frightened in the back of his car, or it's puking, or it just wants to go out to relieve itself, but it wants to destroy your friend in the back because he's holding the lead or whatever. So find a way of securing your dog, like a box, a kind of, you can, if it's a puppy, you can get these small boxes you can get in, you know, local pet places, you know what I mean, that mainly for cats. But if it'll do the job, try check it out, make sure it's secure as possible, but try and find a way of penning a dog in safe. Have someone sat at the back of the car near the box so they can soothe it, and if there's any issues they can tell you, and you can pull over and then kind of get it on a lead, walk it, and kind of de-stress it, you know what I mean. But don't sit in the back seat, because again, if you're picking a dog like this up and you don't know if it's aggressive or not, and people have just told you, and trust me, I've heard so many stories where people said the dog has been brilliant, it's beautiful, loves kids and all that. They've got it home and it's been aggressive, nasty and everything, and the issues have come straight out. So don't believe everything you're told. Take it with a pinch of salt. So you get home. First thing you want to do is, you don't want to start throwing balls around, bringing out loads of toys and kind of, you know, winding the dog up. Get it in, show it a place. If you've got a dog bed already prepared, or a blanket in the corner that's nice and thick and it's not going to get cold lying on it, show it a place, put some water, let it settle, let the dog settle. Try and ignore the dog as much. Now the dog's going to get up and move around, it's not going to be sure. Every time give it reassuring words. You're okay, you know, don't worry, don't fret, you know, calm down. Just you, body language. If you start standing over it and every time the dog gets up you start moving around the house, the dog's just going to get more and more skittish and more nervous. Try and put a radio on low or a telly in the background. You know, if you've got kids, other pets out, you know, for a start. You've got a new dog, you don't know if it's going to chase your cat, kill your rabbit, or dive at your bird cage, you know what I mean? So try and move everything out the way, you know what I mean? So don't have a bird cage right in front of the dog where it's going to be lying. So you're keeping it calm. You're not having kids running around it. You're not having people throwing balls and going, oh, what a lovely boy, and standing there with your camera phone taking photo shots, about 200 photo shots. His poor thing's just got on the door. You know what I mean? It's in a complete strange surroundings. It might have been taken from a litter, you know what I mean? That's, you know, it's been with its mum or been with its other litter mates, if it's a pup, and all of a sudden it's in this big, massive house. It might be a beautiful house with all lovely, beautiful things around, but to the puppy or to the dog, it's zombie land. It's a horror show. You know what I mean? So calm down, leave it alone, let it settle. Now the next thing you're going to need, and this is why I'm saying getting a dog is it's a lot to take in. You're going to need 2 cages. And when I say cages, dog pens, whatever, secure, not these flimsy things that you can get off some sites such as Amazon. They do sell some good ones, but they also sell some rubbish. A dog like this will push through a flimsy dog cage in 2 seconds. Get something that's not too big for it, but not too small. It mustn't be cramped. You're going to have one downstairs and one upstairs. Now, be prepared, the dog might not settle upstairs unless it's in your bedroom. So you're going to have to go through that. In time, this is all at the beginning, but in time you're going to draw that cage out into another room. So don't fret about, oh, I can't have the dog in my bedroom, you know. Trust me, you're going to have to maybe do that. So have a dog pen downstairs, have a dog pen, a dog cage or pen, whatever you like to call it, upstairs as well. Now, when your dog settles, leave the door open, put some blankets in there, and trust me, dogs like to be kind of in an area. Now stick it in a corner room where it's not going to get a draft, and it's not going to get you walking by the cage every 2 seconds, you know, somewhere it's safe in a corner, that not next to a washing machine, not next to the oven. And I'm saying all this because trust me, people do these things, you know what I mean? But put it somewhere where it's going to feel that it can go in and retire and kind of settle down, and it ain't going to feel scared or fretful. Now don't close the door, because if you close the door straight away, once it starts doing that, it's going to think it's in a prison, and it's going to start whining and yelping and everything, because you're now the only person it knows, and it's only known you 10 seconds basically, you know what I mean? The main aim is to get that dog settled in your home, and trust me, you might have to go for 2, 3, maybe a week of nights of, when you get it upstairs, again, it's going into a different world upstairs. It's, you know, woof, all these different smells, sights. You might have a telly on, you might have kids shouting you know, because they want to go to the toilet, or they hear a noise or something. You know, all the things that go off in family life or in your life, you know. So it might not settle upstairs, so you might have to go without sleep nearly every night. You might be going 2-3 hours getting up. Now every time that dog's like restless and looks like it might start whining, you're going to have to teach it that, you know, good, thank you for letting me know, because you might want to go to the toilet, you know. So be prepared to go up, down them stairs about 6 times that first night. Every time it goes out, just walk in the grass. It doesn't matter if the temperatures are freezing, if it's pouring down the rain, if it's snowing, if it's blowing a hoolie, if you're cold, you don't like it, whatever. It's got to go out. It's got to know that when it goes out, that's where it does toilet. When it comes in, it doesn't, you know. And that's going to take time again. It is, some dogs pick it up really quick. Sorry, I hope you're not getting too much wind noise. But I'm talking you through all this. Now, as I say, I'm no expert, but I've been doing this for, I said 53 years, it's 43 years. I'm jumping too many years. I've been doing it with this kind of breed the last 12 years with Stella and upwards with Rebel 5. You know, so I've learned with males now. There's still a lot to learn, trust me, you never stop learning. But before that, I was doing German Shepherds. And I'm sorry if I'm speaking fast, but I'm trying to get a lot in, you know, to try and help people. You too! So you're getting the dog in, you're getting the dog settled, you know what it eats, you know what it likes. And the next thing is, that first few days, you're going to be up early. You're going to be up earlier than you normally would, because you want to get it into a pattern of sleep at night, get up, then exercise, then eat. You know what I mean? Once it's calmed down, you don't put all these on top of each other. You know, do it in stages. So it sleeps, then it gets up with you. You make sure it goes to the toilet first. You don't go to the toilet first. You don't have a drink first. You don't put the radio on first. You don't, I don't know, I'm trying to think all the things you might do in the morning. You don't brush your teeth or anything first. You take that dog out to the back garden or your front garden or whatever garden you've got. Make sure it's relieved itself, because trust me, you'll be brushing your teeth, you'll be making your bed, or you'll be drinking your coffee, and this little thing that's only been in your house 10 minutes will be crapping on your floor. So you want it out. So then, Stella, leave. She's digging, rooting. So you get it out, it's done its business. Then don't worry if it follows you around the house. That's good, because you can keep an eye on it. It's working 2 ways in the early days. Then you brush your teeth, you make your bed. You might have to go without having a shower until you get this dog sorted into a pattern. But the first thing you do after that is maybe rush down that coffee, brush your teeth as quick as possible, get yourself dressed, and then you exercise that dog. And you take it out and you bring it on a lead. And trust me, at the beginning it's going to be pulling. That'll be another section. I'll deal with that on another section, another part, another day. But you're going to be getting this dog out and you're going to be exercising it. Now, if it's a young pup, you're not going to be giving it 10 miles. But you're going to be giving it like 2 or 3 miles in 2 or 3 times a day, at least. You know what I mean? To get it used. And when you're exercising in the morning, you're making sure it's seeing other dogs, seeing noises. Go places where there's traffic, go other places where it's quiet. Go places where there's dogs, go places where there's children walking and making noise. Go near roads. Don't push it towards the road, but don't walk it away from the road. Make sure it gets to hear them sounds, the cars, ambulances, police and emergency calls, buses going by. Sorry, you're probably getting wind again. I'm trying to get you out. So you bring it back. You've exercised it for that 2 or 3 miles. Counts how young. I mean, if it's obviously really young, you're not going to be doing 2 or 3 miles. Take all this, you know. Do your research and find how much exercise you should be giving it. But even a young pup will need quite a bit of exercise. Now, don't, Stella, leave. I'm watching these two. Look at them two playing idiots. Now, don't always walk it on concrete or tarmac. Change it around day from day to day. It's because if it's a young dog, its joints ain't going to be fully formed. You know what I mean? Set in the body as such. You know what I mean? It's all going to be soft. All the joints are going to be soft. So if you pound it on the pavement every day, that's not going to do its joints. You're going to find it going lame. Same if you're running around in a field and you've got it on the lead and it's starting to sink in the mud or soft ground, it's going to be hard on it again. So you mix it up. But you keep that dog on a lead. You do not let that dog off the lead. until you know the dog will always respond, and that might take you months. Trust me. And people will disagree with this, but I'm telling you now, this kind of dog you do not want running free unless it will recall, because if it gets in a fight with another dog, especially if you've got a rescue dog and it's a year old, 2 years old, it will demolish another dog and you will be in front of the courts. You've got to know you can recall your dog. Just because other people, sorry, I'm not going to photo that. Just because other people can't control their dogs does not give you an excuse for you to let your dog run free and wild as well. So you're keeping that dog on a lead, you're training that dog, and by training I mean you're not doing anything specific, you're just getting it to walk, to heel. Now trust me, that sounds easy, but that's going to take time and you're going to do different things, but again I will cover that in another section. So at the home you should now have a dog's getting into a pattern, a dog that knows when nighttime is nighttime, and trust me, you don't stay up at 3 in the morning watching videos and your dog's getting overtired or anything like that. It's all going to backfire on you. You get the dog in a pattern, you get in a pattern. That's why I say if you've got work commitments, a busy life, a busy social life, it's very hard to do all that. That's why you've got to think seriously before getting a dog like this. So, sorry, the wind's picking up. You won't hear me talking. And I'm sorry if I'm speaking fast, but I'm trying to get a lot in a short video that people can understand and take in, and even if they take in some of it, it will do them a lot of good. So your dog should be settled in the home. It should know what time meal times, because you're going to set them at a specific time so the dog gets into pattern. All this can change in the future. This is only getting your dog established in your home. Nothing too crazy. If you've got a mal and you're trying to get it established in your home, if you start learning it, teaching it bite work, which I've seen people do, believe it or not, teaching it bite work before they can even get the dogs to sit, just is so incredibly foolish. You know what I mean? You want to keep that dog as calm as possible, but trust me, it's going to be crazy. Look, I'm only talking to you a lot of these two. You know what I mean? I'm not even doing anything for them. So at the end of the day, you're going to get that dog established. It's going to get into a pattern. It's going to know when it's feed times and knows when it's settling down. Now, for the next part, which does include the home, please take this as I say it. I'm not saying this is something that has to carry on forever with the dog. This is something you're getting the dog established. You too! Get here! Sorry if I shouted, but I see her drawing towards the hedge, and other people, it's a Sunday, and other people will be walking along that field soon. Fuse! This way! Rebel! Look, he's looking for my friend's dog. This way! Rebel! So stubborn. It's a bitch, you see, another female mal, and he thinks she's coming every day. So you'll sit there sometimes, just stare. Look at her. Rebel! This way! Fuse! Now, as I say, yeah, this next bit, please understand, is just before, whilst you get the dog established. Right. Dog does not go on chairs. Dog does not go on your bed. Dog does not stand on the landing upstairs looking down at you. Why? The king sits in his chair. The king lies in his bed while the servants run around him. The king sits on his throne looking down on his minors. Trust me, it sounds a bit crazy, but that's exactly what dogs will do. They like to take power. They like to take control, especially if you've got a dominant dog. Not all dogs are dominant. One might be perfectly willing to sit by your legs. Another might try and rule the roost and take command. This way! I'm trying to get you out the wind. Please! This way! Rebel! Stella! This way! So, do not let it on chairs. And I know people say, oh, but he loves it. My dog's always been good. I'm not saying all dogs won't be good on a chair in the future, but you're trying to establish a kind of a set pattern for your dog in the home without any issues like it snapping at you when you tell it to go off the chair, or refusing to obey you when you say get down them stairs or get off my bed, and it takes your fingers off again. So no bed, no chairs, no standing on a landing, and go to the basics. You've heard it all. Most people have heard, don't let the dog push by you and go out the door first. You go out the dog first. Eat first. Again, it's common sense. You are the leader. You are the one it's got to look up to. If you put its food down first and feed it, who's in charge? You're a servant. You are running around your dog. You know, if you allow it to lie in the bed and kind of take control of your home, all it needs is the TV remote control, and it's got the and a bell to ring so you get its dinner to it. You know what I mean? You are the perfect slave. So establish it in the home. Now, in the future, when your dog is well suited to your home and knows its place in the home, then what you do is up to you. If you let it on the bed, I never do, but I'm not saying, you've seen me on hiking videos in Scotland. I let them on chairs. If I put a blanket down, they jump on the chair. I don't mind that at all, especially if it's freezing cold stone floor. So please take it as I said. I'm not saying dogs can never go on chairs. I'm not saying dogs can never go in beds. I'm just saying you want to get that dog settled in the home. So please go about it the right way. I cannot say enough about getting your dog in the garden, even if you have to go out with it on the lead, because sometimes a dog will not want to go out in the garden because it's raining. So you might have to put it on the lead to take it out in the back garden to make sure it relieves itself and does its toilet business. Dogs are lazy, just like anyone else. You know, trust me, if it's pouring down the rain, they ain't going to want to go out and urinate in the garden if it can urinate on your kitchen floor where it's nice and warm. So you're going to have to put it on a lead and go out and stand in the rain. So have a coat handy, have a hat handy, have an umbrella, whatever you have to do. But you've got to get that house breaking sorted, your house training sorted. And it's only going to do that with your help. So that's what you're going to have to do in the early days. And trust me, it'll look at you and it'll go, I don't need to go out. And 2 seconds later, you'll bring it back in and it'll piddle on your floor. You know what I mean? And you'll be mopping. So that should be getting you established. That should be getting you settled. The whining, different dogs will whine. Some are more fretful than others. So you might have a dog that's really whiny. That's something that will settle down. Things like putting the radio on, giving it plenty of toys then after it's eaten, after it's calmed down, so it doesn't, make sure it can chew the right things. Dogs, that's why I say have a cage or a pen. Yeah, sorry, we had a short break there. I could hear voices and there was someone on the other side of the field. That was Rebel and Stella this time, snapping at each other. Just done some treats just to get them closer to me. That's the other thing, you got to always watch back at your back, because you're chatting like on a phone or you're just walking with the dogs, and you can guarantee someone will be coming up behind you with another dog that maybe that their dog was trained and good. But sometimes you have other people that do have dogs that are a bit wild. Right, so as I was saying, yeah, you're going to have to go out in the pouring rain, in the night, during the day when it's throwing it down, because sometimes it's raining all day. You can't sit there and go, oh, I'll take it out when it stops raining. It might not stop raining all day. But you've got to get that dog house trained. The toys, once the dog's calmed down, you have playtime, you know, and you take them toys off the dog when it's over the playtime. But give it a toy that can chew. A toy that is for a dog that can chew. You know what I mean? Don't give it your old socks, because you're teaching it to chew clothing. Don't give it an old shoe. Same again. All shoes will be chewable. The reason I say you've got to have cages is because you at times will do washing, go to the toilet yourself, have dinner, have a bath, shower, whatever, getting dressed. Guess what the dog will do? Rogue! Hold on, I've got to go again. Sorry, I had to go again. Getting busy and the wind's picking up now. That's why I was rushing on this kind of video to get everything out, because I knew people would come along sooner or later because the weather's picked up nice, even though it's chilly. Yeah, the pen. You need a pen because you want to put it in a pen when you're doing them things like having a shower, having your dinner, maybe you have to nip out to maybe just go in the back garden to put some washing up or something, and the dog is settled and you don't want to disturb it. But you know what I mean? You can't turn your back with a new dog because it might be a chewer, and if it chews electric cables and they're plugged in, you're going to find one dead dog. The same, it might be inquisitive. You might have a lovely fish tank, might jump out and knock the fish tank over. It might be destroying your best shoes because you left them out and you're foolish, you know what I mean? You've got to understand, you've got to house train or puppy train your house. So things you don't want chewed, you've got to get off the floor. Things you don't want chewed, you've got to get out of reach. And don't forget, pups can jump, dogs can jump, you know what I mean? So if you don't want it chewed, get it out of the way. Hence why if you have a cage, you can put it in for timeouts. And this is where the training starts. You're teaching the pup or the dog that that cage is not a prison. So you're going to give it timeouts. So you're going to say, right, you've had your exercise, you're tired. That's the best time to do it. Put it in the cage. It might whine, it might whinge. Blanket, ignore it. It's trying to teach you the rules, you know, saying like, I don't want to go in here, you know. It's going to have to learn. Sometimes you're going to have to put it in that cage, pen, whatever you like to call it. It's not a punishment. It's just a timeout so it can sleep. Give it a toy in there, something it can chew. Trust me, it will play with the toy or it will be chewing the chew. And within 10-15 minutes after it stopped whining and you have not shown it eye contact and not kind of kept talking to it or whatever, it will settle and it will do. Now do the short timeouts, half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. Trust me, a pup will keep getting up, keep getting restless. It'll soon whine, and you'll know when you have to open that gate and let it out. But what you're doing is, eventually, you have a dog that you can put in that cage. Now, the cage and pen counts. I don't have to do this because I've got all the time in the world, and majority of the day I'm with my dogs. But there'll be some of you that are more busy than others. So you will need these cages and these pens so you know when you leave the house, only for short periods, maybe an hour, 2 hours, whatever, that pen and cage is a safe place for your dog, because some dogs don't take to being left at home, and even for short periods, and you might find that your dog is a destructive dog. So what you want to do is have it in a pen or cage so you're confined in it in the area so it can't destroy your house and it can't get itself injured or get hurt. That's something you're going to have to find out for yourselves, what kind of dog you've got. Rescue dogs obviously are going to have more issues because they've probably been moved from family to family or home to home. But as I say, it counts what your lifestyle is like. You might never have to use that cage once your dog has settled down after the first year or so, you know what I mean? But she has a pen now for when I go shopping, because I don't want to leave two bitches. I've seen what two bitches can do to each other. She might be playing with Rebel. I'm not there to control the situation. Stella might get involved and it could end up a fight. I don't want that. Three, you know, it's like two's fine, three's the crowd, or whatever they say, you know what I mean? That's why I put her in the pen when I'm going shopping or have to pay bills or have to go out or do errands or something. I know that when I come back then, she might be whiny a bit when I get back in the door, but I know that she's been in there. Now, she might chew a blanket up, she might chew some toys up, but that's the only damage she can do. She's not going to chew no cables, she's not going to destroy it, they're not going to fight, or, you know what I mean? If you've got a cat or anything, they're going to be chasing the cat around the house. But that's something you're going to have to learn, and each dog is individual. It's just like people. They all come with their own personalities, traits and problems. So you might find a pen works for you, but obviously you're going to have to size that as the dog gets bigger. As I say, do your research. It mustn't be too squashed. The poor dog mustn't be too cramped, but it mustn't be too big so it's got a palace, because then it feels insecure. Because the whole point of a cage or a pen is to have a little area where it feels secure. That's why you put it like a corner of a room or somewhere where it's safe, you know, it feels secure, that nothing's a threat and it can just chill out and relax. So I think I've covered most. I'm sure I'll miss some things, but I'm trying to get as much out as possible whilst keeping an eye on my dogs and let them burn some energy off. But as I say, I will do another section on walking, I'll do another section on training. I didn't mean to do any of this, but I'm getting more and more people stopping me. So if I direct them to the YouTube channel or Instagram, whatever, they can contact me. But also, if they see these videos, it will help them. And as I say, I'm no expert, and I'm not saying my way is the only way. There's different ways to do it. Everyone does their things differently. It's just anything in life, even cutting the grass, making a dinner, whatever, we all do it differently. No one's an expert. I'm not trying to say I'm an expert, I'm just trying to help people, you know what I mean? So I hope this has helped. Right, now I can do some exercise with my dogs. But as I say, I'm trying to help others. Look at him, he's still looking for that dog because he sees other dogs now. He thinks it's my friend's dog and he's got a Mal, so, and it's a female and he's all over it, of course. Rebel, are you staying there? Right, we're going, bye. He would literally stay there if you don't shout at him sometimes. Look at him. Don't know if you can see it. Such a fool, isn't he? Right, hope that's helped anyone. Right, I've got to do some work with my dogs. Bye for now.